Very windy today, with the forecast looking calmer for Thanksgiving. We'll have an update from State Patrol on road conditions.
And what Janesville police are saying about the man arrested for allegedly harassing and assaulting several women at Walmart.
Not only for your own protection, but for spreading the virus around.
And you may want to pass the potatoes, but certainly not the flu. We'll share the #1 way you can protect family members around the table.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Heavy snow and high winds to our north are causing some Thanksgiving prep issues. Thousands were without power this morning across north and central Wisconsin.
The heavy snow in the Wausau area combined with high winds damaged some power equipment there, and drivers were asked to slow down on the roads as that slush could then refreeze. If you're headed north for Thanksgiving, the DOT website lists the interstate I-90 from the Dells up to Black River State Forest area as slippery. And this is a look right now at the interstate near Camp Douglas. The website also marking a lot of snow-covered or slippery stretches north of Wausau and Eau Claire. 2 hours south, the winds are just beginning to die down a little. The National Weather Service says gusts this morning at O'Hare International Airport topped out at 60 miles per hour. The wind caused widespread power outages as tree branches fell on power lines. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has the latest on the windy conditions in our area. Let's get a check with your First Alert forecast.
Well, Charlotte, the winds are starting to die down here. The wind advisory has been allowed to expire. Right now, the worst travel conditions in the northern part of the Midwest, where winter storm warning remains in effect for far northern Wisconsin and the northern UP of Michigan. That's mainly for lake effect snow. But out to the west, a winter storm watch has already been issued from northwestern Wisconsin through northern and central Minnesota, including the Twin Cities metro area, for the potential for heavy snow from Friday into Saturday and Sunday. And of course, the Badgers go up to the Twin Cities on Saturday. These are the maximum wind gusts today across southern Wisconsin, mainly in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. 56 was the high gust, and that was at Kenosha. Many locations right along the Lake Michigan shoreline had winds gusting to 50 miles per hour or stronger. Current winds are generally in the 15 to 30 mile per hour range. Those are sustained winds with gusts up to about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Temperatures have dropped into the lower 30s, and you can see those wind gusts, still a gust of 43 miles per hour in Madison, so that's dropping the wind chill to the upper teens. By tomorrow morning, look for skies to be partly cloudy. Temperatures will start out in the mid-20s. We'll have a quiet Thanksgiving Day holiday with a high of 36, maybe a couple of flurries late in the day, a little patchy freezing drizzle tomorrow night, but then we turn our attention to the next storm. I'll have more details on that and weather.
The weather is impacting one of the biggest travel days of the year today.
Yeah, from the snow up north to the windy conditions to our south, you're bound to be dealing with some kind of inclement weather if you hit the road. Maddie O'Neill live on the Beltline with what you can expect out there. Maddie?
Now, with those fender benders cleared up, this is as clear as we've seen the Beltline all night here at the Todd Drive area, but the wind is still gusting, and State Patrol says today and Sunday are some of the busiest travel days. Now add in wind or snow, and there are a few things you'll want to keep in mind.
I'm heading to the Kalahari up in Wisconsin Dells.
Before spending a Thanksgiving near your family.
Get the kids out of my hair for a little bit, let them run around, burn some energy, so that way when we take them to the family's house, they don't go crazy.
You'll want to give yourself some distance on the road.
Oh, it's breezy. Blowing my car all over the place, and it's just a pain in the butt.
Beyond cars, wind can hit semi-trucks especially hard.
I'm moving around a little bit, so just got to pay attention to your left and your right.
You get a strong enough crosswind, and it'll flip a trailer.
Truck driver Bob Undersire is planning on an 11-hour trip to Indiana, factoring in holiday traffic.
Yeah, it can be bad.
His message to drivers:
Try to stay out of their way.
There is always a possibility of vehicles being pushed around with extra wind.
So State Patrol Sergeant Brett Mankey says keep your distance, slow down, and eliminate distractions while on your drive.
Check the 511, check your weather, know your route before you leave, and drive safely. Have a safe weekend.
It all helps avoid close calls on the road to get you through holiday traffic to the family members you hold near and dear.
It's not so bad. I thought it'd be a lot worse.
If you're out in the wind driving in this, of course, it's a good idea to keep both hands on the wheel before you head out. State Patrol wants you to make sure you check your tires and fill up with gas. Now, if you're heading back or doing some traveling this weekend, we are expecting some snow and rain, as Gary mentioned, so it's a good idea to keep an eye on the forecast as well.
All right, Maddie O'Neill, thank you. And a reminder, you can access our First Alert forecast on your smartphone. Download the app for free to check customized forecast and up-to-the-minute radar.
Developing tonight, the head of the Air Force will not stop efforts to discharge a Wisconsin Air National Guard whistleblower. U.S. Air Force Secretary Barbara Barrett reportedly told a spokesman for Senator Tammy Baldwin she won't halt the process, but Barrett says no discharge recommendation will be approved until a retaliation investigation is complete. Master Sergeant Jay Ellis reported sexual assaults and harassment within the 115th Fighter Wing last year. He alleges his superiors are now trying to medically discharge him and deny his retirement benefits because he spoke out. A man accused of sexually harassing several women at a Janesville Walmart now faces a $500 cash bond. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with how police found him. Adam?
Yeah, well, Charlotte, according to a criminal complaint that came out just today, 50-year-old Robert Suchmansky tried to kiss several women, including an employee at the Walmart in Janesville. Now, the complaint says he offered the women money, tried to grab them, even hit a 17-year-old employee so hard that he hurt her. And today he faces one charge of physical abuse of a child. And police say it was help from social media that led them to him.
We've got 104 officers here in Janesville, but you know, people can come and go from our community that we're not going to know.
Now, police say after they called in Suchmansky, he turned himself in. They also say, according to the complaint, he has a history of mental illness. Now, he will appear in front of a Rock County judge next month for a competency hearing.
Adam, thank you.
There's a new website to help Wisconsin residents with the 2020 census. Governor Tony Evers has launched WI Count 2020. That'll include information guides on how to participate and how to get involved with local complete count committees. The 2020 census will be used to determine how more than $600 billion federal dollars will be distributed to the 50 states. Go to wicount.wi.gov for more information. The Madison School District is moving a step closer to its goal to use 100% renewable energy by the year 2040. On Monday, the Board of Education approved a long-term contract for solar energy with MG&E. This commitment, along with a similar deal with the city of Madison, will allow MG&E to build the 7-megawatt Hermsdorf solar project in Fitchburg.
While we're still at low risk for the flu here in Wisconsin, the spread is only going to get more severe the more we're inside, surrounded by family. Danica Lewis has more on what doctors say is your best line of defense.
As we get ready to eat, drink, and be in super close quarters with our families, doctors want to remind all of us to protect our loved ones from the flu. And if you need a reason to cover your coughs, wash your hands, and above all, get your flu shot, consider that last flu season was the longest in a decade, 21 weeks. That's more than a third of the year. More than 61,000 people died in that time due to flu-related illness. This virus is really tough to predict, and we won't really know what the most common strains are until peak, which could be over the next couple of months. The people most at risk, really young kids, older adults, and people with chronic diseases. So UW Health infectious disease doctor Joseph McBride says if you don't get it for yourself this holiday season, get that flu shot for family members who might be more vulnerable.
I mean, I would argue that most people know somebody who's elderly or young or has heart disease, and that's why the recommendations are for everybody over the age of 6 months to get the flu vaccine, because it would help individually, but then also their loved ones and public health in general.
Dr. McBride stresses that getting the flu vaccine does not give you the flu, and it takes a couple of weeks to be fully effective. So getting the shot sooner rather than later gives you, in McBride's words, more bang for your buck. Have a happy and healthy holiday. Danica Lewis, News 3 Now.
Local lawn care company Weedman is helping families in need put food on their tables this holiday season. Today, they delivered about 1,100 pounds of non-perishable food to Second Harvest Food Bank. Weedman employees and their Madison area customers donated what a spokesperson called a smorgasbord of different items. As a family-owned company, they said they take pride in giving back to the community. An update to a story we brought you last week. Emma Mertens, the 8-year-old girl who inspired people around the world through her passion for helping animals and others, has been laid to rest.
Emma passed away months after being diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. She and her family received tens of thousands of letters and pictures of dogs to comfort her through her illness. The Mertens family wrote on the Team Emma Facebook page that her funeral service was beautiful and exactly what she would have wanted.
Guests were asked to leave their thumbprint on a canvas in the shape of a heart. The post says the family didn't notice until they got home that next to the heart was the paw print of one of Emma's all-time favorite canines, Canine Drago, from the Fitchburg Police Department. To honor her legacy, Emma's family created the Emma Loves Dogs Foundation, raising money for canine units and no-kill animal shelters. And we have that link on our website, channel3000.com.
Next at 6, if you have any last-minute groceries to pick up for Thanksgiving, the local diner is inviting you to skip the pie baking and let them do the work.
And there's more local news ahead, how Black Friday sales have evolved and what you should know before hitting the stores. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Well, as many get ready to shop this holiday season, tech gadgets, of course, are on a lot of lists, but many of us simply cannot live without these devices. And tonight, we'll tell you about a first-of-its-kind rehab center treating people so badly addicted to their devices that it's turning their lives upside down. We'll see how a 5-acre retreat known as Restart gets those people on the road to recovery.
First, they need to be away from screens, and they are away from screens for a minimum of 2 months. And then during that time, we're really building the foundations of health.
If there are negative outcomes, there are kind of real damage happening to someone's life in terms of their academic success, their social relationships, then there's room to be concerned.
We'll hear from UW-Madison researcher Sean Green, who studies the impact video games have on our brains, how to tell if your child may be developing such an addiction and how it may not be as bad as you think. That story and more tonight, News 3 Now at 10.
If you have a consumer question about a charity you're donating to this holiday season, or a complaint about a different company, or maybe you're a victim of a recent scam, our Call for Action volunteers are holding a special evening call-in to help you with that. We'll have live reports as they help answer your questions Monday night from 5 until 7. If you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner for your family this year, you know that all that cooking can be a bit much.
Yeah, a local diner wants to make dessert as easy as possible by giving you the largest selection of pies to end the night with. Jamie Perez takes us there. Prepare to feast your pies on this.
We are just hours away from one of people's favorite winter holidays, Thanksgiving. And if you haven't thought about what kind of pie you want yet, Hubbard Avenue Diner has just a few.
And by a few, I mean a lot.
This year for Thanksgiving, we're doing about 2,800 pies.
That's Jason Harder, the pie guy. For the past few days, his team has been working non-stop, keeping their eyes on the pies.
I'm used to it.
The people keep rolling in.
Pretty fun to watch people walk in the door and, their eyes kind of like get big, like, wow.
I am going to pick up some pumpkin pie.
Double apple crust.
Raspberry apple or something like that they have.
Pumpkin pie. You really can't beat them. They're just so delicious.
Everyone baked to piefection.
It's been a tradition now for the 9 Thanksgivings I've been here.
All for goodness bakes.
We have apple double crust, cherry, strawberry rhubarb, pecan, pumpkin pecan, chocolate pecan.
Unbelievable. The best pies you'll ever want to eat right here at the Hubbard.
Happy to know that we're able to provide a sweet ending to a Thanksgiving meal.
You have just a few more hours to come and get your pie if you want one. They close at 9 o'clock tonight. Reporting in Middleton, I'm Jamie Perez, News 3 Now.
Any pies that they don't sell tonight will be donated tomorrow morning.
Oh, I can't imagine them.
They know how to make pies.
Yes, they do. Go get your pie. Coming up in sports, the Badgers try to win back Paul Bunyan's axe this weekend, and anyone making the trek to Minneapolis will be dealing with snow.
Plus, high winds are dying down for anyone making a Thanksgiving trip tonight. A little light snowfall could blanket your return trip, though. Gary will have all the details next in your complete forecast.
Gary joins us now with a look at our travel forecast.
Are you tired of the wind?
Oh my gosh.
Boy, it really picked up early this morning. The good news is it's going to start dying down as time goes on. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. It will be quiet for Thanksgiving. Not a lot of wind. It'll be cloudy. There might even be a couple of flurries, maybe a little freezing drizzle Thursday night. Then we turn our attention to the next storm system. It'll be mainly rain from Friday into Saturday. However, that could be mixed with some snow early on. And then windy with light snow on Sunday could cause some travel problems, especially toward the end of the holiday weekend as people are traveling back home. These are today's high wind gusts. And you can see Madison topped out at 44 miles per hour. Milwaukee hit 52. O'Hare Airport 53 miles an hour. Rockford almost 60 miles per hour. Peru, Illinois 63 miles per hour. That did cause a fair amount of damage. Now, the winter part of the storm really winding down, other than the lake effect snow belt areas up near Lake Superior in upper Michigan and northern Wisconsin, where winter storm warnings are in effect. But then the next weather system already starting to move toward the north central part of the United States. Winter storm watches have been issued out ahead of that from Eau Claire westward through the Twin Cities back into the Dakotas for Friday into Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be on the warm side of the storm initially with rain or a mix of rain and snow, and then change over to snow on Sunday. Future Track computer model right now shows about a 1 to 2 inch snowfall. This is through the day Sunday across southern Wisconsin, but notice up to the north, those amounts somewhere in the 6 to 12 inch range, especially the farther north you go, and then of course the lake snowbelt areas will also kick in as well. So an alert day remains in the forecast for Sunday because of windy conditions along with the light snow that could blow it around, and that will certainly impact travelers with slippery road conditions. Over the last 5 Thanksgivings, temperatures have gone up and down. 2014, we've been as cold as 23 degrees, but the following year we were at 55 with over an inch of rain. Last couple of Thanksgivings have been relatively quiet around here, and this one should be no exception. Look for temperatures to start out in the upper 20s tomorrow morning. The skies will gradually turn cloudy. It'll be around freezing at lunchtime, and then temperatures will top out in the middle 30s. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam downtown Madison. The winds starting to die down a little bit, but not very quickly. High today 45, the low temperature 32. The 45 is early this morning, and 32 is the current temperature. Notice the winds northwesterly at 24. Still seeing some gusts up around 40 miles per hour, and that's dropping the wind chill to 19 degrees. So our forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy skies this evening, then it'll turn partly cloudy overnight. Low temperature dropping to 26 as those winds gradually diminish. Then for tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, look for skies to become cloudy, maybe a flurry in the afternoon, but high temperatures will be in the middle 30s. On Future Track, notice the winds continuing overnight, but they'll start to die down and the skies will start to clear out a little bit, but the clouds move right back in during the day tomorrow with a chance for an afternoon flurry. Tomorrow night, maybe a couple of flurries, and as temperatures drop just below freezing, maybe a little patchy freezing drizzle, and then the bulk of the rain and snow starts moving northward on Friday, reaching us during the afternoon. But notice temperatures at or above freezing most areas. That should keep the snow from sticking to the ground. Otherwise, the 7 to 10 day forecast, again, light snow on Sunday that could cause some travel problems. And the rest of next week looking very quiet. Temperatures only in the low to mid 30s, a little bit of warm up at the end of the week, but not a lot of precipitation chances.
Boy, you make one mistake and they send you to a different city. That might be how Trent Grisham feels tonight. The story's coming up in sports. The Brewers traded a couple of significant players on their roster today for two young players they hope make an impact in the majors for years to come. Trent Grisham and Zach Davies are off to San Diego. Grisham was, of course, in the middle of the Brewers' run to the playoffs in September, but the one play he'll be remembered for was his misplay of Juan Soto's base hit in the NL wildcard game in Washington. The play turned a 3-1 Brewers lead into a 4-3 Brewers deficit, which was the final score ending the Brewers season. Grisham was a first-round draft pick of the Brewers in the 2015 draft. He's now in San Diego. Now, the Brewers get two young players from the Padres. Eric Lauer was actually San Diego's opening day starting pitcher last spring. He had an 8-10 record last season. And infielder Luis Urias also tore up AAA last season. He'll get a chance to supplant Orlando Arcia at shortstop. Zach Davies joins Grisham in San Diego. Davies made 111 starts for the Brewers the last 5 seasons. The Packers figure to finally win a road game Sunday at the 2-9 New York Giants, but if they play like they played lately on the road, well, you never know. The Packers are still trying to figure out what happened in their 37-8 loss at San Francisco last Sunday. Head coach Matt LaFleur did find a big reason why things didn't work out against the 49ers.
It's just communication. We got to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We had too many mental mistakes and too many lapses on, in communication, both really in all 3 phases. And that's the stuff that really gets you beat.
They've already issued a winter storm watch for Minneapolis starting Friday night at 6 and running through noon Saturday. Up to 6 inches of wet, heavy snow, wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. Oh yeah, there's a football game at 2:30 that day, Wisconsin and Minnesota. When the Gophers won Paul Bunyan's axe for the first time in 14 years last November, they paraded the thing around the state like it was the Holy Grail. In some ways, I guess it was. Some Badger fans and players were a little torqued that the Gophers seemed to rub it in with their displays. Gophers head coach P.J. Fleck says that wasn't the case at all.
I don't see that at all that way. Our state of Minnesota hadn't seen the axe for 15 years. I mean, that's like finding your long-lost grandfather and knowing that he exists, and then you find him. Don't you want to go see him? If he exists and he's in the state, you're going to probably drive and see the guy. It's the same thing. It wasn't like we were holding it out the window, driving through the entire state of Wisconsin. That would be showing off. But sharing it with our in-state alums, donors, boosters, supporters, I think that's culture. I think that's tradition.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, of course, and one of the great holiday traditions a lot of people have is a turkey bowl game. You know, the one time in the year some people get out and play touch football. Badger quarterback Jack Cohn is overqualified for playing in a turkey bowl these days, but he remembers sticking it to the older guys.
Oh, yeah, we dominate them. I mean, towards the end, you see the dads start blowing out knees and stuff, just getting old, so it was funny.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, he laughs now. Give it 25 years, Jack. All right, good luck. Good luck to the Badgers in that. Could be a snowstorm on. Could be a messy weekend in Minneapolis.
It would probably be snow changing to rain during the game. But around here, the winds still continue pretty strong. These are sustained winds right now in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Still seeing some gusts over 40 miles per hour, including here in Madison. But you can see temperatures dropping into the lower 30s, the wind chills in the upper teens, and our high temperature for Thanksgiving in the mid 30s. Storm for the weekend and quiet next week.
Well, thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a great evening. We'll see you back here at 10.